Did you know that every time you plug in a USB cable, you have an Asian American to thank?
I'm Ajay Bhatt, and I'm co-inventor of USB.
Join the Asian American Foundation and Wongfu Productions as we tell the stories of trailblazers who shaped American culture.
USB is everywhere today. Over 5 billion devices and cables are manufactured globally each year. From keyboards to video game controllers, microphones to this cloud lamp, and of course, everything on your phone. It's all done through USB. And it all started here at the Intel headquarters in the 90s, when an Indian American immigrant first had the idea that would change the world. In an era where tech pioneers are constantly in the news and tied to their innovations, it's pretty hard to believe that the face and name of one of the most important pieces of tech in the modern world is not common knowledge. For years, everyone thought that this guy was the co-inventor of USB. But in reality, the real Ajay Bhatt was living a quiet life away from the spotlight, despite being a rock star amongst techies. And today, I'm traveling to the lush and quaint hills of Portland, Oregon to meet this incredible pioneer. Okay, so I'm very curious about how a boy from Baroda becomes a person in Portland who changes the world.
I was never driven by money or fame or success. Baroda is a city of India. It was established by Maharaja of Baroda called Sayaji Rao. He was a big believer in education, art, and culture. And even my university is called Maharaja Sayaji Rao University. I'm son of a professor who also taught at MS University. So we lived on campus, and my mom was a homemaker. They always said that the best thing we could ever give you is education. At the same time, they always said, hey, go pursue your dreams. And particularly my dad, he said, I don't know much about engineering, but if that's what you want to do, give your best. So from very beginning, I was curious. I would open things up and look at things inside. We had a radio and I would open it up and looked at everything.
But your parents were like, great, now our radio doesn't work.
Many, many times I would open things up and couldn't put it back together. But over time, I could. My dad's friend, he had this changer record player. It was not working. I said, do you mind if I look at it? If you can make it work, it's yours. I made it work. It was mine. That foundation I had in India and the freedom that I had, the curiosity that I had, it has stayed with me all my life. That may be the small reason why I was successful with USB.
Can you tell us about how you moved from Baroda and your journey to becoming the inventor of the USB?
See, my dad did not want me to come to US. He said, why don't you just go to university in India? And for what I wanted to study, there was not much in terms of advanced studies in India at that point. And for a professor, his son getting a PhD was very important. So I came to US primarily to study at the University in New York. Before I could join PhD program, I had to finish master's. As it turned out, I met a gentleman at campus who recruited me away even before I got my master's, and I started working in industry. And after a couple of jobs in Boston area, I joined Intel.
What gave you the idea for the USB?
I had a computer at home, but occasionally my wife and daughter would use it as a word processor. So once my daughter, she had typed up a paper. They wanted to print that paper, and I was at work, and they struggled all day to print it. Thing about my wife is, she puts up with no nonsense. She says, we have all these things and it never works. What good is this? So that's when I thought that there had to be a better way. Computers with multiple ports and dedicated software were very difficult for a common person to use. Wouldn't it be nice to have a single port which supported all different devices? They just plug it in and they would work.
So does your wife take any credit for the invention of the USB?
Well, you'll have to ask her, but she always says she has nothing to do with it.
Like, what is the process like to bring an idea into Intel?
I brought this proposal for this port, and when I showed it to people, there was not many takers for this. Basically, I was asked to just give up. I had this strong feeling that we needed something like USB. And if Intel were to sell most advanced microprocessors, they would have to expand the appeal of computers beyond just the technical people. They would need a lot of common users like my wife and daughter. So even though I was told not to work on it, I kept the idea alive. But I couldn't do that from within the organization I was in. So I actually took internal transfer to a different group. And even there, when I pitched that idea to him, he says, Ajay, I don't know whether you'll succeed or not. But you know what? Go convince yourself. I took that as a yes, and I went off and started developing this idea.
So when you were even putting it together, did it have a name, or how did you figure out the name? And I want to joke and say that USA was taken. You did USB.
We were not very good at naming things. We just called it Universal Serial Bus. In short, it became USB and it stuck.
So you take this idea and then you go pitch it?
When you're in business of innovation, no is often the reaction you get. The key here is if they agree with the problem statement, then they're likely to agree with your solution. So doing USB, nobody said that they like what they saw at the back of the computer. They all said yes. These different ports and different cables and special software is too complicated. So in 18 months, we had made sufficient progress. There were lots of twists and turns. I recall going to Microsoft meeting, and I remember telling our marketing gentleman to do one thing. I said, your job is to introduce me, and then I'll take it from there. I stood up in front of a whiteboard, and I said, here's documentation of our current thinking. We are at the early stage of this program. If you like it, and if you join us, you will get opportunity to shape this technology as a founding members. And then after I got done, they flipped through the document. They said, this is the best technology proposal that we've seen so far, and we would love to join you. So with now Microsoft on our side, now we went to others like IBM, Compaq Computers, HP, digital equipment, and we invited them to join us in development of this technology. Because for us, it was important that we had diversity of opinions. We wanted this technology to be evaluated from computer side, from the software point of view, from end user point of view. So we wanted to cover all the bases.
And you said that when you turned in that proposal, the market was about 40 million. How much do you think the market has ended up being?
Oh, I don't even know. I mean, if you just look at it in terms of devices, every year more than 10 billion devices are sold. I mean, you go anywhere and you'll find USB. Initially, when it first came out, we were very proud that something that, almost didn't make it. Because if I had listened to people who said no to me at the onset, it would have never happened.
You said your father didn't really actually give you like that big compliment till many years later. When did that shift? Because at first I think your dad was not really understanding, he was encouraging.
Now, in all this shuffle, my dad was always very anxious. He says, I sent you there to do PhD and you never did PhD. You keep on jumping. So he didn't quite appreciate what I was doing. And this went on till 2009. Right around there were a bunch of articles that were published on my work. One of my siblings, my brother, took a copy of this article and gave it to my dad. And he read that. And that's when he called me and said, you know what? When I read this, you've done some amazing things and I never realized. And my company had me go to India and meet with Indian government and go and speak at a bunch of universities. And that's when, my relatives found out. That's when they realized that, oh, this guy has achieved something. Till then, I was just an engineer, not even a manager.
And how has your South Asian or Indian background in particular affected your perspective or work?
I've traveled extensively in Asia and India, and there's a lot of similarity in a lot of these Asian cultures. What is common is education, dedication to what you do, teamwork. we is more important than me. And then you come to US, you get exposed to this most advanced technologies and massive investment. I took best of what I learned in Asia and best of what I learned in US and put it together, so I have best of both worlds. That diversity that I got has been significant in the whatever little success that I've had in my career. And to me, opportunity to make a difference is more important than anything else. The way I look at my career is that I left computer industry in slightly better shape than I found it.
Before we ended each interview, we asked every guest, what does Asian+American equal to you?
Asian+American equals global technology innovation powered by diversity.